Hey guys, welcome back. So now that we've got all these measured and all the measurements checked out good, it's time to go ahead and put the rings back on the pistons. Right here we have a diagram which kind of shows you where the rings go, or the ring gaps go rather. The top piston is going to be the front of the engine, so the top ring is going to be A, there B. Lower oil ring, second ring, so just going to go ahead and put those like that on there. When you're putting these on, you always want to be as careful as possible. So this is the oil ring expander. It's going to be E, so it's going to sit about right, this piston's backwards, but about right there is where the E one's going to go. So we'll get that gap right there. I usually like to start at the bottom and work my way up. So we'll get that E gap right there. Okay, then we'll do the lower oil ring next, which is going to be the B ring. It's going to sit right there. I'll probably come at it from the bottom here. It's going to be this one. It's kind of easy to tell which way these go back on, because if you can see right here, you can see where the expander ring was touching it. It's going to go in right there. Make sure it's in all the way around. There's no problem with the ring coming apart like that, because that'll make it really hard to get in there if the oil expander comes apart. So the B right there, then the upper C is going to go right over here. Make sure it still kind of freely moves around a bit. Okay, so now we'll do the second ring, D. That's going to be, the two rings are always a bit different, it's easy to tell. Okay, so the next ring to go on will be the middle one. That's going to be the one that doesn't have the bevel on the inside. It has a T on it, which of course is going to be top. So according to the manual here, this one's going to be the second ring, D, so it's going to go over here. Get that T up. And lastly, we're going to have the upper ring here, which of course is going to be A, and it's going to go right here by this valve. So the bevel is going to go on the upside, right here. You may be able to still see a T there, but probably not. But the bevel goes right here. There we go. So that one's installed. Make sure they're all free and move easily. Easily enough anyway. So now we'll go ahead and do the next piston exactly the same way. So get it facing the same way here. Get the oil expander where we want to start it. Then we'll have the lower oil ring, which is going to be right here. Then we'll have the top oil ring, which is going to be right over this way. Next we'll go to that middle ring, which again is going to be the square one, so I'm going to look for this T here. It's right there. Not sure if you can see that, right there, the T. Of course it's the second ring, D, so it goes right here. Then the upper ring, top ring, is going to go right here, with that bevel facing us. Maybe somebody can correct me on that, but I believe that bevel's to help the gasket behind it and force the ring out.
Start it up.
Of course that's going to go right there again. The top oil ring again. It's going to go right here. Remember that T? Right there. And the top ring again with the bevel towards us. Right there. Last one. Do the upper oil ring first, right over here. Lower oil ring. Alright, so all those are installed now, so it's time to go ahead and get the block back up here and get ready to install the pistons in the engine, or onto the rods. Okay guys, let's get the engine back up here. Of course, you always want to be sure to lift these with your back, not with your legs, and you want to bend over it awkwardly as possible as you're trying to get it on the bench without dropping it on the floor. There it is. Okay guys, so it's time to install the pistons onto the engine here. This is always a bit of an adventure. The way I like to do it is I like to do the center two first. That's my kind of first tip on this. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those up where they're a bit longer here and easier to get to. Secondly, because these two are going to be on like this, you can't really get to the circlip in the middle. It's a real pitta. So I like to do it where I have a clip already in the inside. So you can see here I already have a clip in right there. So the pin can't go through. So I can just insert from the outside, then only put this pin in or clip in once I'm there, because these clips are not very easy to put in. So we'll go ahead and start with number 2 here, since it doesn't have any in it, unfortunately, right now. When I order these, I always get a couple extra because something's going to happen to one of them. I like to get a pair of little kind of needle nose pliers here, get a real firm grip on them, and make sure you're doing the right side you need to do, this side here. And then I put the edge here inside of this, and generally I can get it in there like that. Yeah, just like that. This side's easier because you have the pin helping you out. See, you hear it click there. So that one's in. That's the easy side. So assembling these, I'll put a little bit of oil on each one of these, especially here in that center section on the ring or rods themselves. Put a little bit of oil in there. Make sure your piston's going in the right way. Of course, on these Yamahas, it's easy because the 3 valves always go towards the intake side. But if not, there's a dot there that tells you on this particular piston. So I'm going to go ahead and just slide that right in there. So that piston's on now. Do the same thing on this number 3 here. So go ahead and get that one started there on the outside here. Hopefully you can see that one of these angles. Careful with your rings, they'll try to pop out sometimes, especially that oil ring, it's very delicate. Clearly can't get it in the hole. There we are. Okay, so now we've got those 2 on. So now I'm going to be putting in the clip here on the outside, hopefully. We shall see. So we have that little indentation there to work with, so that's what I'm going to be going for. I think I got it. Not quite though. Make sure you hear that clip and make sure it's all the way in there and seated well. Have a visual look at it there. I usually give it a reverse push on the pin, make sure the pin's in good. All right, we're good on that one. So now go to this other side here. All right, we'll get that one later. If you do drop one in the case like that, don't forget about it. You're gonna have a very, very bad day if you forget about that circlip in there. That's also why to get extra ones. This is generally, I would say, the hardest one. These inside ones here. Got it. All right, again, we're gonna check that one, make sure we got it in there good. So now we're gonna go to the outside ones. So here's this one here. I'll go ahead and rotate the crank around. That one's on. Okay, so now we're just gonna clip those two outside ones. There we are. Check it. And one more. Okay, so all the pistons are in. So now I need to insert the dowels that are going to go right here and right here. And go ahead and swap the engine around from how it is right now so that 1 and 4 are down. Of course, that dowel is going to go right there. And then another dowel is going to go right here on the outside, just like that. All right, so those are sort of in now. Okay, so it's time to go ahead and try and install these cylinders. I say try because it's always a bit of a fight. First thing I'm going to do here is put a bit of oil on the inside bottom of the cylinders here. There's a bevel here, if you see that right there, that's supposed to help that slip on. Okay, so of course to go this way with the chain adjuster back, like I said, I generally like to start with these two pistons. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to set it up here and gently place those into the bore, the first set of before rings, and we'll see if we can get any more in than that. It's always a bit of a struggle for this, so hang in there and we'll see if we can't get it in. Sometimes I use a hose clamp like that. I know you guys can't see a lot of this, but what I'm doing is using the screwdriver, a small screwdriver, to gently press the ring lands into the tapers there. Sometimes you also have to pick up on it because it'll come down too far, then pinch the ring and you can't go. Oh, but don't go too far. It'll pop back out. ready for it to do that. So I'll gently pull this back up.
The oil rings, they're the most prone to pop out, so be very careful watching those go in.
Alright guys, I got 2 down. I'll get these lined up. Alright guys, here's the fun part. I know you're not going to be able to see much of this, but basically I'm just working the rings in the same way as I did up top. I usually get it on the side first with a split, and then I'll work it in with a screwdriver. And probably get these down just a bit further even still. So you don't want to get them turned like that because then they'll get kind of stuck like that. Here we go. It's almost harder this time because you can't rock the engine as much. Or the cylinders rather. Okay, so I got the cylinders on. Looking in there and pushing on those oil rings to make sure they're still springy, to make sure everything's seated right, and it did. So I'm just going to slide the cylinder down into their place. Make sure the gasket's in place first. There we go. And there it is. So now the engine's, or the cylinder's on.